Hello to all you wonderful people of YouTube. This is Vincent from Wonders of London. Hope you're all doing well and having a good day. And remember, if you enjoy our videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to get more fantastic views of London like this and little bits of history. And today I want to tell you about the man who saved London from drowning. And in fact, it's one of many people who saved London from drowning. But before I tell you his name, I'd like to tell you a bit of the history of London and the River Thames and flooding. And I'm just here in the Victoria Tower Gardens at the Houses of Parliament. And just to my left over there, we can see the Victoria Tower, which is quite beautiful and brilliant. Most people prefer the Big Ben, but the Victoria Tower is my favorite tower in London. And did you know that in 1928 the Thames flooded much of central London with fatal consequences? And in fact, it was the last time in the heart of London that the capital had been underwater, but it was not the last time we suffered from floods. We've had many floods in this area, and in fact it was after midnight when the river burst its banks. Most Londoners slept as the floodwaters gushed into some of the nation's grandest buildings. And in fact, the Elizabeth Tower, which is also known as Big Ben, people reported about the flooding at the Elizabeth Tower, and they said it came like a waterfall over a parapet into the space of the at the foot of Big Ben. And this was the Times correspondent, the Times newspaper, talking about what happened. So it is quite a fascinating thing just to make a note of. And a lot of this area was under 4 feet of water, and this used to be a kind of slum, even though it's not a slum anymore. We had a lot of the poor people living here, and as such they lived in basements, and often they had no protection from the flood or the water. And when the water gushed over, when the Thames broke its banks, this water went into these basements where poor people were living, and sadly 14 people actually died. And just ahead in the distance over there we can see Lambeth Bridge, and 10 of the 14 people who died in 1928 died on this side of Lambeth Bridge, the Westminster side of Lambeth Bridge. So quite a sad thing. And the Houses of Parliament, the Tate Gallery and the Tower of London were all swamped as well. And this was by no means the only flood we had in the late 40s. We had another serious flood in London, but everything pretty much changed around 1953, when on the 31st of January 1953 the North Sea flooded into the Thames, and the Thames flooded all over the nation. Hundreds of people lost their lives, thousands became homeless, and it was a sad situation. And this caused a lot of the changes that we find on the River Thames today, and it led to quite a lot of fascinating innovations like the Thames Barrier happening. But before that, between 1939 and 1944, London was in danger because the enemy, the Nazis and their allies, were bombing this fair city of ours. And as they were doing so, they were bombing places close to the river, and this threatened London with drowning once again. And we have one individual, Sir Thomas Pearson Frank, who was alive from 1881 to 1951, and he was the chief engineer for the London County Council between 1930 and 1946, and he was one of the many people who helped save London from drowning during the Blitz. I do hope you enjoyed that video, and have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, etc. wherever you are. Bye.